Stephen.
Andrew.
Fancy spending a quiet night inside number 9?
Yeah, let's do that.
So we're going into Series 7, Episode 4, Kidnap, which was directed by Al Campbell, produced by Kim Crowther, and written by Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith, and first aired on the 18th of May, 2022. Excited to talk about this one.
Yeah,
lots of questions. Lots of questions. We're kind of in and around number 9 in this one. It felt like we spent a bit of time inside number 9, but a lot of time outside number 9 as well. So we head to 9 Lauradale Road eventually, where a kidnapping takes place. But not all is as it seems.
Is that your catch-all for most synopses? But inside number 9 is, and not all is as it seems.
No, that's about as good as I'm going to do. I didn't prepare one, so
you did well. Cheers,
man. What did you think of this episode?
It was a cracker. I really enjoyed the twists and turns. There were some really fun performances in it. I think Reece and Steve had a good time with their slightly less sort of focal characters.
Mm-hmm.
Good fun.
It was good fun. Yeah, it was
in a Reservoir Dogs kind of way.
There was hints of all sorts of good films. Like it reminded me of Fargo as well, like the farcical kidnapping, the plan that no one is quite sure of. Yeah. And it never goes right. And I loved it. Some absolutely fantastic performances, I thought. Daisy Hargard and Daniel Mays were brilliant. And then
she's always very good.
She is fantastic. Yeah, I think there's just some great moments of comedy and of acting throughout. And
special effects, I think.
Lots of special effects. I'm sure we'll talk about special effects. Because
it's all I've been thinking about since I saw the cast announcement for this.
What a delight to see old Jason Isaacs standing at the door. Yeah, I know. And he was involved in a pretty special effect as well. So we'll talk about that. We'll explain. We have talked about this before, have we?
I think we have. The only thing is that I can't remember, although I'm starting to remember where we heard this. Was it the Event Horizon?
Yeah, special features.
It was, right, okay. So I went looking for it. It was only recently I realised it was Event Horizon, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find this clip of him talking about this anywhere. Apparently, no one thinks it's quite as funny as we do.
I feel like we haven't talked about this on the podcast, but I don't know because I can never distinguish between conversations we've had not being recorded and ones we've had being recorded. For anybody that is thinking what you're talking about, on the special features for Event Horizon, there's interviews with the cast, and Jason Isaacs is on there talking about special effects, and he is saying how amazing modern day special effects are, and how you can have a cup of, I don't know what it was that he.
It could just be cola. It could just be Coke or something.
And you can make it look like it's a cup of coffee by drinking it, pretending it's hot.
That's special effects, he says.
We were sat there watching it. It's just like, isn't that just acting? It was just an absolute, peach of a moment. But yeah, it was great to see him anyway. It
was. Hello to Jason Isaacs.
Hello to Jason Isaacs.
This is one where I thought different things when I saw it for the second time, as we were going through.
Mm-hmm.
Right from the off, the split screen start. It was interesting how we haven't seen this at all really from them playing around with how the screen looks. That's not something that's been done a lot in any of the series. Are there any other episodes? I don't think so.
No, the only one that comes to mind is Cold Comfort, where you see different things happening at the same time, the CCTV. But
but having split screens and things isn't something we've really seen at all. And it is something that I don't think it almost felt a little bit like the Last Gasp thing, where something was set up as though it was going to be intrinsically part of the story, almost like a sort of sliding doors kind of thing, but wasn't. It just
Absolutely.
It was not a narrative thing at any real point. And it wasn't like I can see why they're using this. This is incredibly clever how they're doing this. It was just kind of a nice effect to have on there.
Yeah.
Unless you can convince me otherwise while we're going through. But it didn't. It felt like it was being set up for something that didn't really pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agreed. Yeah, or I agree.
I used to agree, and then I realised.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it did seem like it was going to be this this really significant thing. You're going to be seeing these things happening at the same time, and then they'll all come together. And I think that was like the part of the comedy was the fact that didn't happen. And one of the key moments was like the yes/no game where they'd split the screen between Shane and Lara,
and then realised
they're just facing each other. And and it's like that was perfect for me. But yeah, like it. Yeah, I think that's so true about the Last Gasp. You're looking at that video camera thinking that there's going to be some, found footage on there, and it's just a complete red herring. Nothing. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you look back through, and when I watched it again at the beginning, it felt like you were seeing a split screen there, and they were it was sort of brought in, they were facing each other in bed, and it looked as though maybe there was going to be some relationship between them there. Then obviously that doesn't happen, but by the end of it, when you see it again, they're they are partners by the end of it. Not completely by accident, pretty much, from what I can tell. They are accidental partners in crime. So whilst they don't start out as the partners that the screen almost looks like they're supposed to be, they do end up by the end. And then that's a really good point. And I quite like the sort of the juxtaposition things going on with them leading very similar mornings, but with very different things, different approaches. His life looks bleak at the beginning. It's just the pissing, her on the toilet pissing as the lager is filled up in the glass is horrendous. Yeah. Do you think, because I thought it was lager and then people were saying it was juice. No. And it could have been apple juice, but I did think, it's like that didn't look like apple juice. That looked like a morning drink. That looked like a morning Dutch courage. I'm about to go and do a bad thing. It was it was slightly sort of, it was foamy for apple juice, but not very fizzy for lager. It was like as if the can had been open all night. It was last night's lager. So we'll go with that. But yeah, no, I loved that the split screen there when you're just following like him brushing his teeth with his finger and I mean, it was very vigorous brushing for an electric toothbrush that she was doing. I've been trained to take it a little treat it as a passive easier. Passive thing. I don't. You're doing the thing for me, just kind of like holding it there. That's what they tell you to do, isn't it? It's not even in contact with your teeth. Stick it in my mouth. Virtual toothbrushing. So and then we meet Dominic for the first time properly when he comes down and asks if she's got Pilates today. I love that exchange. There's little hints of his the voice that he does for the character in Nana's Party. Nana's Party, yes. Hello. Yeah, he's such a pathetic character. None of the characters are particularly endearing. No, they are all awful. Actually, that's true. They're all dreadful people. Yeah. No one in this is not, apart from the police, I guess. Yeah, I suppose Steve's police character. But yeah, Dominic is just, he's the very tropey, work-obsessed. The fact that he's still taking phone calls
like trading or whatever he's doing during the negotiations and everything. Like,
and he's giving out his business name when he's picking up the call to kidnappers.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I don't think he's fully invested in this situation. But yeah, that Pilates, you've got Pilates. No, I'm waiting in for the postman. Have a nice time.
See you later, babe. You got some Pilates today?
No, got to wait for the postman. Got a package coming, apparently.
Sounds great. Have a good time.
I wonder what it could be.
And there's the chloroform. We did. I didn't. Yeah.
Oh, versus the perfume.
Perfume. Yeah. Yes, got to see a bit of the return of the chloroform.
The chloroform. Yes. Oh yeah. That's a throwback, isn't it?
Yeah.
What if we talk about chloroform?
Chloroform was in Quiet Night In.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because he chloroforms the housekeeper, doesn't he? And puts her in the cupboard.
Yeah. So
wow.
Back to the rapid fire chloroform, which
I seem to remember you finding it isn't. Yeah, it doesn't
work like that. No, but in the TV world, it does. In films, it does. So
who are we to?
That's all we're gonna know. I love the transition when she falls on the floor and you just see her like into shot and then
down the screen.
Cut down the screen and then they're just shifting out. There's some really nice little wipes and stuff, like stylized things on the with the transitions, which could have, I think, been cheesy. Like it's a fine line with those sorts of wipe-ins and all of that sort of stuff. Because
I guess that's why it didn't remain sort of a consistent thing throughout the episode. And you're right, it started to become a bit of visual humor later on, like the drawing up of it. And I guess it kind of helps make the some of the scenes involving the police a bit more sort of intense.
Yeah,
where you've got faces of people looking at computers, you've got these really concerned expressions, and we just need 17 seconds.
Yes, yeah. And the awareness on the other end of the phone of like, you're trying to triangulate the call, aren't you? And quite a lot of tropes from these kinds of, I don't know what the right word is for
police procedural.
Yeah, and like with
dramas
kidnaps or hostage negotiations and these kinds of things.
Sorry?
Do you want a glass of water? The instructions said you might have a headache.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so then we finally arrive at number 9.
It was a long one, wasn't it? And then we're given the kidnap title with the arrival at the inside at the number 9.
Is this Shane's house?
No, it's not Shane's house.
He doesn't.
He
In
doesn't.
the yes no game, it is not. But it looks remarkably like it could be.
It's I'm assuming not, because he's only got his one outfit hung up there.
Is he really a postman?
No, but that's the thing.
He's got a red van.
He's really sort of got into the part.
It has.
Although I don't know how good a post vest is for hiding firearms.
No,
you can see the straps underneath.
There's a great moment where he, like the way was it when he put it on, and it was almost like he was putting it on like a cape, as if he was like donning this superhero costume. And it's just like a little high vis vest. And
you can't use a vest to hide firearms, or indeed any arms.
No. Good one.
Cheers, man.
Yes, and he's got the mask on.
Yeah, I love the voice changer.
The voice changer toy. Yeah, classic. Great.
Yeah, the fact that he has just turned up at her house. He hadn't really thought through this process of, she's going to see my face. She's going to hear my voice because I have to, because otherwise if I turn up in the mask, it'll freak her out.
Yeah.
But it said on the instructions that you might forget. I like that he's got instructions for chloroform.
He loves those instructions.
And we know that if there were instructions for chloroform, they would say it will not knock out someone instantly.
It will take a little while. They might get a bit groggy over a period of time, and then eventually they might fall asleep. Yeah, and then there's that the three-way sort of phone call scene where Shane wanders off to make his go with his instructions. We're sort of clumsily working out. Okay, I need to ring him and ring.
I do love the farcical, engaged tone, and they're both trying to get through to him at the same time.
Yeah, that was nice. And the just Dominic being as disinterested as he possibly could be in that situation. And the postman kidnapped me. Oh, are you the postman? As if it must be you kidnapped, right? Okay.
The only person I knew she was going to have contact with, well, it can't be the Pilates instructor because she's not going to Pilates. No. So it must be the postman.
I wonder what the episode would have been. I wonder if he had something waiting for her at Pilates. That's a whole other.
Well, that's a thought we've had before, isn't it? What happens? What's the episode we don't see? And that's what this split screen could have been used for.
Yeah, what went on in Pilates? Yeah, so that scene. So that's there's quite a lot of kind of brooding dread when you're watching it for the first time and you're thinking, and you have no clue, what is going to happen here.
Well, that's the thing. I'm wondering if she knows quite what's going on here, to the extent that she knows what the plan is, and she knows that there is a plan, but she also perhaps isn't really quite sure of what to make of Shane, because he doesn't seem like he's quite got everything together.
But he's also got everything more than together because that's where it kind of reminded me of Fargo, where you've got different people taking control or thinking that this is the plan, but not having the full picture, not knowing that, okay, this is an inside job, or whatnot. I'm working for this person. And yeah, Shane is taking it very, very seriously.
And that's where the problem with the firearms comes up later on, isn't it? With the gun, because he's not supposed to have a gun, but as far as he's concerned, he needs to have a gun for what he thinks he's being hired to do.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that everyone who is working with you is fully aligned with your aims.
Yeah, exactly.
This is actually a parable about management, effective leadership,
and compensating people fairly, because their plan didn't have paying Shane in it. So if they'd have included Shane in that, maybe ask for 1.5 mil and then give Shane 200,000.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Or maybe he was going to get the 300.
But I don't think that was in the plan, because they said they were he might get angry, but he won't be able to find them. So it'll be okay.
I mean, Shane, it sounds from the description that Clifford gives of Shane that this is basically his job. He's sort of a hitman for hire. Not necessarily for killing, but at least for smashing some kneecaps up. Mm-hmm. So I'd have thought that he'd kind of get things in order, really, before he took on a job. But here he seems quite happy to not really be that fussed about how he's getting paid and what he's getting paid. It'll happen at some point.
Yeah, it's as if he was handed these, because he's the drinking partner of Clifford's cousin. Mm-hmm. He's obviously got his instructions. Maybe he's been given them in the pub, or someone's written them down. Like Clifford's, let's write these down. Handed them in the pub, and then, okay, I'll go along with that. But yeah, he's chaotic. He's a chaotic man, and obviously doesn't like being called
an idiot.
Like there was a trigger point for him.
Yeah, he got a bit angry there, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's an aspiring pastry chef.
Yeah, I like that little mini character build just dropped in.
So he has positive aspirations
and creativity.
Yeah.
Or he's very good at following a recipe. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's
He's good
what it
with
is.
recipes.
Listeners have been all right with Shane. He didn't hurt you or anything, did he?
Yes, he did. You didn't tell me he was going to use chloroform.
Well, you said the less you know, the better, right?
Where did you find him?
He's a drinking buddy of my cousin's from his army days. Wants to be a pastry chef, but he mostly breaks people's legs for money.
Well, you're not worried he's going to track us down when he finds out we haven't paid him.
He'll get across, yeah. But he's not going to fight us, is he? Because he hasn't got a passport, I checked. And he's not going to go to the police, right?
Get you all ruthless.
Yeah, I love the yes-no game. That takes a little while to sort of figure out. I mean, it was only really on the second viewing. It was like, okay, yeah, right.
That's what's going on here.
I understand this. What's going on here now? Like the bollocks you tricked me bit. You're like, what's she tricked him into? Oh, they're just playing this game, and then
playing a little game.
That sets up just a great exchange between Clifford and Shane when Clifford arrives, and you realise, okay, they're partners. This whole thing is a little bit shambolic. Was Clifford supposed to already be here? Like, where's he been?
And it turns out that he's left out some of the instructions as part of the setting out the terms of the deal. He was asked about if you told him no police. That instruction was omitted.
Yes. What are you talking? Why are you talking like that? We're playing the yes/no game.
And then also part of that is the bit about you haven't touched her, have you? Well, she wanted to go to the toilet, so I took her jeans down, but I used an oven glove for it, so it didn't count. Didn't count.
Yeah, and there was that. It's kind of a weird thing then from Clifford when he says, "Don't go getting too close to her."
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
that's expecting some sort of reverse Stockport syndrome.
Well, that made me think. I wonder where they met. Did they meet in some kind of Stockport syndrome situation? Does he know that if you get too close to her, she might sort of, I don't know, enjoy it?
So we kind of got there with the yes/no game. It'd have been out ages ago.
Yeah.
For some reason, that line made me think of Gareth Keenan from The Office. I don't,
yeah,
just trying.
It's just like still fully invested in the game. Yeah,
it'd have been out ages ago.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the when they just like talking about the earrings, and then he's like, "Do you want me to take them out?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to snip her lobes off." Like, that was the most horrible and surprising thing.
No, we won't compromise on the amount. Yes, sir. I will kill you if he doesn't comply. I know we're not playing games anymore.
He'd have been out ages ago.
Shut up.
How long have you given him to get the money? Because he may not be
Not my problem. Did he buy you those earrings?
Sorry, what?
The earrings you're wearing, would he recognise them if he saw them again?
I think so.
Good.
You want me to take him out?
No need. I'm going to snip her lobes off.
What?
Courier them to the office, and then I'll know we mean business. Mr. Ball, get down to the corner shop and buy us some sandwich bags.
Who's Mr. Paul? Will do, Mr. Barrow. Farrow.
Jason Isaacs is such a good actor. Like,
yes, he is.
And he's just so fully immersed in that role. Even the smallest. I wonder how long he was on set for to do that.
The last thing I saw him in before this was Death of Stalin, where he turns up as he's like a field commander with a really strong Yorkshire accent.
He's great.
Superb.
His accents are amazing. Yeah. So good. Snipping the ears off seems to be part of the plan. Yet they don't have sandwich bags already.
That is true. Shambolic.
Although, was it part of Clifford's plan to send him away?
I think it must have been, because I also think that they must have had something in mind for whose lobes were actually going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because surely it wasn't in the plan for them to genuinely cut her ears off and send them.
No.
So whose was it going to be?
And
maybe Shane's.
Was it really going to be necessary to snip her lobes off? Wasn't that just a if he says no to sending the money? Was that like okay, we'll escalate it?
Only if necessary.
Yeah.
But even then, surely they wouldn't have cut her earlobes off.
No.
Because then she wouldn't be worth as much money.
What their plan was for that. That's interesting. Yeah. Whose lobes?
Don't know.
Whose lobes?
Let's play a game of whose lobes.
Yeah, so this is the twist, and we realise, okay, they're in cahoots. This is a plan. Lara and Clifford are getting it on. Was that a surprise?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I was not expecting that.
I was not expecting that.
It wasn't this has been done before.
Yes.
This has definitely been done before somewhere where the storyline turns out that they're in on this.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is having the third party involved that isn't in on it at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because does he need to be?
Only from the perspective of realising he doesn't have to go to the extremes, like tying her quite so tight and bringing a firearm. But I don't think for the plan to work, he needs to be he needs to know exactly what's going on.
I think that's a flaw, because I think that if you introduce someone in who isn't aware of it, they are more likely to cause a problem.
Mm-hmm.
With something like this that is relying on quite a lot of intent to cause physical harm. If they don't know, they're not supposed to.
Yeah, and the number of times that the phrase that she's going to end up dead comes up from Shane. Like, it's almost as if he understands the plan as she ends up dead.
Yeah, well, that seems to be what the recipe that he's been given says.
Yeah. Which makes you
we're going to get the money and she dies anyway.
What's Clifford's plan? But yeah, and the fact that he's so he plays it so well as an unpredictable character, like you feel like that he's not fully in control of his actions, so he seems like not a great person to have in that role. And there's like Clifford can't really vouch for him. It's his cousin's drinking partner who used to be in the army, who now breaks legs for a living. Like, you'd probably do a little bit of due diligence around making sure.
You'd hope so, but
he's
no.
okay, but no. Hasn't been done. Yeah, I love the phone call then that we see. What's his name?
The police.
So it's the
Dominic and the police.
Yeah, Dominic and the police ringing
with the
up.
split screens. There's computers. There's Steve looking intense as the lead officer. There's Dom coming out with awful sports car analogies that very specific, just incredibly dull.
Yeah. Which on the one hand, you're thinking, okay, yeah, you're doing well, keeping the conversation going so they can triangulate the origin of the call. But actually, no, he's saying this genuinely. He's just saying what he would be saying whether there's a hostage situation or not.
Yeah. And then Lara comes in with her scared hostage act.
Yeah.
It's my scared voice. You've never heard it before.
That was great. I love the little wink when she says, "I'm scared they'll do things to me again," and then winks at Clifford. Like, yeah, nice.
It's so cold. I'm scared they'll do things to me again.
What things? Tell me where you are.
I don't know. They put a blindfold on me. Oh, just do exactly as they say, darling. Please.
I will. I hate hearing you like this. You sound awful.
It's my scared voice. You've never heard it before.
Oh, no, he's coming. He's going to hurt me. No.
It would have been cheaper for him to just divorce her.
Mm-hmm. So he's obviously clinging on.
Is he clinging on, but he's not exactly taking a lot of interest in her. He's got his PA buying her earrings. That's the only way he knows them, because his PA bought them. He can't even be bothered to enter into the situation, into a conversation enough to find out that she's not going to Pilates, the postman's turning up. It doesn't sound like he's that invested.
There's a lack of interest, yes. And I think he just likes having his things. And she's part of his things.
It all starts to go a bit wrong.
It goes a bit wrong when old Shane returns from the shop.
Because they've got a bit slack here, haven't they?
I love this transition with the countdown, the screen moving across. And he's kind of getting closer and closer. Yeah, it's a nice little touch. What's he got from the shop? What? Is he eating something when he's...
Did he bring a bounty back? I don't know. No, I don't know why he suggested she might want a bounty.
No. Has anybody
How
ever...
do I make this situation more difficult? Bounty. Be specific.
What I need is some coconut in my teeth.
It's true. It's what it does.
Yeah. Be tasting that all day.
As far as he's aware, he's just walked into a situation where she's escaping. She's now got a new part to play within her playing a part. She's gone from playing the part of the helpless hostage to now the helpless hostage who's less helpless and has taken her hostage taker captive.
Yeah.
And she gets into it.
I think you see her true character sort of coming out here a little bit, of very much taking control. And that like when Clifford is like, "Could I just ask what you're trying to achieve?" Because it's like, no, you've got two into this.
Come on.
Back in the room. And then it's that shout of "We have a plan," and you realise Shane is very much invested in his plan. He sticks with this plan. And so, then we have the conversation about I told you not to bring any weapons. This is a tool. I'm the weapon.
It's possibly my favourite line in the episode. I'm the weapon.
Yeah. And then we see the magic special effect. The gunshot. This is it.
And the really great bit is that there's like a double special effect because you don't know who it is.
No.
I did like the moment with the gunshot and the fact it zoomed straight down to Shane's torso and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Clifford,
your days are numbered. I'm not trained in this, but I wouldn't think trying to wrestle a gun off a person who is army trained. He's probably let himself go a little bit since those days, but like he's probably
had
not
for breakfast.
Yes, exactly. He's tanked up and tooled up. Probably not a great idea to be trying to wrestle it off him.
No,
but he does, and he dies.
Well, this is the point where Clifford could probably have gone for. No, she's right. We do have a plan. There is a genuine plan here. It needed just a calm head, not a try and grab the gun off the angry ex-army man. Yeah,
kind of okay, we'll come clean. This was the plan, and you're getting a cut. Honest.
Yeah, that'll do. Done.
Yeah. Just wanted you to be playing an authentic part, but you've taken it too far, mate. You've done brilliant. Too well, if anything.
Everyone has taken things too far at this point. It's all It's all just gone a bit far. Actually, I tell a lie. The "I am the weapon" was not my favourite line. It was Stockport Syndrome. Stockport Syndrome was my favourite.
Has a special place in my heart as a Stockport County fan.
Yeah.
And it's relevant this week because Stockport got promoted into the Football League again on Sunday. So, yeah, don't date these episodes.
Congratulations.
That's Thank you. Yeah, that's great. I love that Stockport Syndrome.
You're suffering from the Stockport Syndrome.
Bless him.
What are you so bothered about? I mean, his plan was to kill you, you know. He was never going to let you go.
Oh, my love, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, look, it's all right. You're just suffering from the Stockport Syndrome. You'd probably feel the same way about me if I died.
Of course I wouldn't, you stupid fucking idiot.
Oh, I'm not an idiot! You! No! Get here! Get here! Here! Get back in there! Get that chair!
And this is, she calls him an idiot again. And he does not like that
I'm not
one
an
bit.
idiot. No. It made me think he's had that probably from siblings or family growing up. And it's kind of like there's a really raw nerve there that it's touched. And probably not a great idea.
Or flashbacks to him in the classroom and he wasn't very good and a horrible teacher calls him an idiot and then everyone laughs and chants at
you can just imagine
idiot
it,
at him.
And
then he's back in the room and he's tying her up and getting angry. Yeah. There you go. Split screen.
Poor Shane. So then we were in Dominic's office and he's on the phone trading or doing whatever it is. And then does the phone call come through from Shane at that point? And the police are like, you need to answer the phone. He's like, 2 minutes. It's like, no, now. Like priorities, very important.
So during this call, like you get the impression that Shane is kind of persisting with the false plan. Even though, so is Dom on the? I don't know. I've lost things a little bit here as well. I think.
So is this where we feel like maybe
this was all a setup? So she tries to talk Shane around now. Now that she's in a situation where it's a bit less fraught, and she's now tied up again, and he's sort of in control of the situation. Now it's a better time to explain to him exactly what's been going on here. But it looks like he's having none of it, and he's going to persist.
Oh, it's because Dominic is sort of saying it's going to take me a while to get the money together. There's all sorts of things I have to do. And then that, I suppose that then fits with okay, if they're not taking it seriously and not coming up with the money, then we go to the next level, which is to cut your lobes off.
Oh, and that's the thing, because so Dom's freaked out because the cut back into this scene was because the police have had a report of gunshots, and so they think they've narrowed it down to where she now is. And so he's now a bit tweaked by the fact that there's gunshots going on, and so this is something to be taken seriously. So he calls back and says, I can't get hold of this quickly, but I'm trying. Then the phone goes down, and then she explains again what it actually was. And the last bit we see is that he's going to cut off her ears.
Yeah, because the plan is take the wife, clip her ears off, get the money, kill the wife. It's like,
great plan.
Whose plan was that? And I love, is it clip her ears off? Like it's the use of those little phrases like, I'm going to snip your lobes off. I'm going to clip your ears off. Like it's just there's a delicate gentleness to it when it's like
little clip.
It's a really horrific thing. But yeah, why is killing the wife part of the plan? Whose plan is that? Because it keeps coming up.
It's the almost delight in it as well. It's like, well, we know where this is headed.
Yeah. And you're ending up almost dead.
And I guess it gives a certain level of certainty to the whole thing. If you're trying to put something like this together, you don't really want to have multiple different outs depending on what's agreed to. You know that kill the wife is an ending that covers all eventualities. Whether you get the money or not, we kill her. That's what's going to happen. We've got people on standby to sort out the body. She will be dead. Yeah. They need paying.
I wonder what Shane, after Clifford is dead, what Shane's purpose is in.
Well, surely if Clifford is the main guy here, surely he's got control over that bank account. I can't imagine Shane's just able to sort of dip into it and has any control over it.
No. The bank details have been sent already, haven't they? I don't understand why Dominic has to go and do the transfer in the place itself.
So that was the new demand, wasn't it? And I guess that was then the fact. So at this point, I think that we don't see it, which would have been a use of split screen that wasn't used. We don't see
when they come up with a new plan.
So there's a new plan that involves what actually happens, which is Dom entering, Dom getting chloroformed.
Yeah.
And them sneaking out in his place. And so that's why they need him there to do it. I don't know why he wouldn't question it.
I mean, why anyone wouldn't question? Because
why do you need to go onto the scene?
Do
you need to?
Because it's such a great. I think it's a very understated thing where it's like, yeah, normally you'd be taking for the transfer, you'd be taking a big bag of cash, and then you'd get your wife back and you drop the cash. But it's like, no, you're going in to tap some stuff into a computer, which you could do anywhere. Yeah, and it's like very. I don't know. It's a nice little touch because it goes.
And he can make the phone call to his bank to double check that it's gone in.
Yeah, and they'd be able to check
in your office.
Yes, that money's gone into the account.
And if it says no, that transfer hasn't happened, then kill the wife. Unnecessary.
Yeah, I like that.
It works though because he's not quite. I mean, I think the police have a role to play there in saying, no, this is ridiculous. Why are you going to go in?
I don't think the police did a great job with this.
I also don't think that the police likes him very much. No. I'm quite happy to send him in like a lamb to the slaughter because he's done all these investment deals and he's got 2,500 on Clash of Clans this morning.
Yeah, there was absolutely fantastic look from Reese when he's doing and he breaks the fourth wall slightly. He stares at the camera. There's a little moment where he looks at the camera when he's walking out, and it's just beautiful. It's so nice. But yeah, you're right. Like it's where they're like, it's your call. Well, he's been dressed by this other guy, and the helmet goes on. It's your call, but like he's being sent in. And the fact that it's like granola, you're setting him up to fail. There's no way that he's going to be able to drop that into a conversation.
Not even just granola. It's not like we have to make it a double one in case, because we need to be sure that if you do bring granola up, you mean it to be the safe word. So we have to go granola, because granola is a word that does just come up in conversation with hostage takers often, I find.
How would you do it?
I'd stutter. I don't know.
I'm hungry. Have you got any granola? Granola?
What?
I don't know. How would you do it? There was two other questions I had at this point, or just slightly earlier, which were, the cut where she's screaming as Shane's coming to snip her lobes off, and then it cuts to the dictaphone with the scream. Like, how much did that dictaphone hear? Where was that dictaphone?
Well, yeah, so that must have been a quick recording of the scream. And only the scream, because the entire build-up to that was her explaining the plan.
Exactly, that's what I thought. Yeah. So that tape's been sent with the lobes.
I assume so.
How did the ears get to the police? And what's the timescale that we're on here? I suppose he's a postman.
He's a postman. He knows the ins and outs of this business.
Maybe he's got
could probably get something sent. Inside. Yeah, maybe. Or go on a bike.
But it doesn't seem like much time is passing.
It's difficult to tell though, because all of the lighting and stuff in the house is obscured by the fact that all the windows are boarded up, and so it's light, but it's not necessarily that light. It all started first thing in the morning, didn't it?
Yeah, I suppose, and there was 3 hours.
It could be the entire day. So you could probably get a package sent across London.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Or he could have popped out and delivered it himself. He is a postman.
He is.
With a red van.
And I suppose they're now in cahoots, so it's not like I'm going to leave my hostage here and she might escape. It's like, well, it's in no one's interest, at least hers, to escape. So, yeah. No, it reminded me of, not to always bring Twin Peaks up, but Dale Cooper's dictaphone tapes, how they ended up in Diane's hand. And I'd love to have seen the process of him posting them or getting them to her somehow.
Do you send a big batch of them?
Well, she reacts very, very quickly to them as well. He requests something, and the same, like the next day, like he gets earplugs sent to him. It's a mystery. It's one of Twin Peaks' biggest mysteries, I would say.
I'd say it's something you shouldn't ask too many questions about.
No, I think you're right. So what a tosspot. Dom just becomes completely pathetic at this point. Like when he's running in and
the hand signals and they really put him in that character of someone who's in way over his head but thinks he isn't.
Yeah.
Let's go. In.
Just he's quite cute.
Now it's your call, Dominic. I know it's a lot to ask.
I've sweet-talked the Chinese into tripling their investment. I've negotiated myself a 6-figure bonus, and this morning I scored 2.5K on Clash of Clans. I can do this.
Good man. What a tosspot.
And then there's just some great sequences here.
Mm-hmm. The split screen is nice again to see Steve listening in the car.
Yeah, I think that's a really good use of it. Effective to then you see sort of what he thinks he's hearing, and then the amazing performance by Daisy. Yeah, like just going between the voice changer and the and her like scared.
Oh, her when she's acting the
scared voice.
Yeah, it's quite terrifying actually.
Yeah, I wonder how they did. I wonder whether that was like overdubbed and whether she actually, how much of that was in real time.
Dominic misunderstanding the process of having instructions fed to him and things to say that he shouldn't just repeat word for word.
I understand that.
Do I need to change all the possessive pronouns?
No, I get it now.
It's for your protection. And then deciding that then's the time to haggle on price.
Since we've had the ears off, a lot of distress for me and my wife. Let's bring the 1.3 mil down.
And now she's damaged goods, so...
Oh, man. I'd kick myself if I didn't try.
Bleak.
What can I say?
Yeah, I thought the fake conversation with the wild goose chase ending and stuff was genius.
Yeah. That was...
Because she's genuinely quite frightening when she goes for it.
That felt like one of those iconic Inside Number 9 moments because it was the revealing of the plan and the acting it out. Like the whole thing was just so well done, so well performed, and so well written. And
telling the police we're headed to Tilbury Docks. We're now doing this.
Yeah, she's got.
Let's leave him doing this.
Everything is like putty in the palm of her hand, and her ability to change the plan. It's a bit like. Have you watched any Ozark? Have you watched Ozark at all?
No, I haven't.
It reminded me of that in the way that it's just one event after another that kind of always goes slightly differently to what it would if the plan went to plan. So there's a constant needing to not only change the plan,
adapt,
but
react.
and also do so like playing people off against each other and working out like second guessing how this person's going to react and like it's almost reminded me of that a little bit, that ability to.
Well, Chekhov's voice changer.
Yes.
There you go. It became intrinsic
at the end.
It was a very
important tool, yeah, or weapon.
He's the weapon.
Yeah, and that sequence ends with Shane sort of doing his like jazz hands. I've done it. I'm ready. And it's like, no, you need to make yourself a little bit smaller.
He becomes a little bit more innocent and a willing participant and almost like wanting to please his new master.
Yeah. The master of the checklist has been replaced by Lara.
There's a new checklist in town.
Yeah. So
he just seems really eager to please recipes. And almost like he's got a new recipe to deal with and he's happy. He's back. I guess for him, it's all back in control again because it all went off piece. The plan fell apart, but it's okay because there's now a new plan and I can follow this plan to the letter and I can wear these trousers and I'm going to wear these trousers regardless.
Yeah. Such a great, the run out to the car and it's really short trousers. Yeah, very, very good. And also semi-believable. I think the way it's not like farcical. It's you do believe that could be Dom. Like you believe that the police could believe that that's Dom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the genius of it.
Then they go in and discover Jason on the floor with no lobes.
Loveless
Jason Isaacs.
And Dominic on the floor. Granola. It reminded me a bit of the end of Zanzibar.
Yeah.
With the hypnotist.
Yeah, definitely.
Shouting food.
Oh, bless him. Yeah, and I suppose the question is, what will happen to Shane? Will Shane go... Because he hasn't got a passport.
That's true. But do you need one if you've got a private jet taking you somewhere?
I think, yeah.
You're probably supposed
to go through.
But if you're about to
passport control and stuff, I would have thought.
Well, don't know how these things work. I've never just turned up at an airfield with a private jet, flown abroad, and disembarked.
I'm pretty sure that.
Do you expect you do, or is it just like implied?
I suppose they've probably got enough money to like bribe someone now, anyway.
But haven't they got new identities and stuff? Wait,
yeah.
And that's the thing. If you're about to be given a
need a passport.
new identity, the whole passport
Very
thing might
good
be
point.
less of
Very
an
good
issue
point.
Because he's about to have one, although it is going to have Jason Isaac's face in it.
They needed to do a face-off and take Jason Isaac's face off.
Oh, it could have been a lot darker if he sneaks out in a skin mask.
Leaves his own.
I enjoyed him with a nice Chianti and some fava beans.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a different ending.
That would have needed some special effects.
Yeah. Anything else to say about this episode?
I don't think so. It was a cracker, like I said.
Yeah, I thought it was a cracker. I'd
Twists and
love
turns.
to hear other people's thoughts on this one, and if there's any, what other people, because I think I preferred it. The first time I watched it, I was like, "What's just happened?" And trying to work out, okay, who was in cahoots with who. Second time round, it's like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Second
time around, I felt a bit stupid for wondering that. First time round.
I think yes, so did I.
This is obvious. this is extremely obvious what's just happened. But you're right, because I did. There was a part of me that wondered, did I miss something? And there was a double setup going on.
Yeah,
but there wasn't a double setup. It was just a reaction and a new on the fly plan. Because there was nothing to suggest that he had been in on something all along.
Shane was not involved in that from the start. But like you say,
and there was no double crossing of him.
Really interesting that opening scene with them facing each other in separate beds actually it like sets it up to make you think maybe that is, or sets you up later to think maybe it was a plan. But then it's clearly not. But then it ends up being the truth.
The new plan.
So it's foreboding to a place that...
And I think that's quite nice in that the twist came about because of events in the episode kind of leading that way as an unplanned thing that just kind of had to happen, the second twist.
No. Dominic, what the hell happened? What happened?
Cool. Well, if you want to share your thoughts, please do. Email us, aquietignightInside09@gmail.com, or get in touch via Twitter at AQNIN9. Ahead of our wrap-up episode where we will sort of collate the responses from you guys, have a little sort of further reflection of our thoughts about the series as a whole and favourite bits and anything that we've thought of that we haven't mentioned so far. So I look forward to that. Anything more to add?
I don't think so.
Great. Well, have a good week, and we will be back again same time next week with episode 5. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.